Good afternoon, VV Nation. Happy Monday. Woo! All right. First things first. Can you hear me? Can you see me? Put a VV in the comment section appropriately. If you can hear me, if you can see me. We got Joey in the background today. He's back. You were on vacation last week, right, Joey? The beach? Yeah.
Little Georgia.
Oh, that's right. He's down in Georgia. All right, everybody. Everyone's making their way in. We got Boston in the room today on this Monday. It's kind of an interesting Monday, right? It's kind of weird. We got the confirmed down flashing. Along with that, the Nasdaq hitting a new high, or intraday high, I should say. I was just looking at the Nasdaq here. So very, very interesting day in the market. All right, the alert just hit, so everyone's making their way into the rooms. We'll give everyone just a moment here. All right, do you see that? I got the market timing up, the color guard up today, just because we got the confirmed down flashing, so I figured it'd be useful today. So again, you can see it right there. The color guard is bearish. VectorVest does not advocate buying any stocks at this time. So when I take your stock picks at the end of today's session, again, the focus is going to be more on protecting profits rather than, just jumping into new positions right now, especially with 3 red lights across the board right now. And I mean, we're just past noon, so about halfway into today's trading session here. And look at that. You see the price column and the confirmed call flashing back to an up there. Interesting. This is curious. That's what I'm saying. It's hard. Joey was just asking me, hey, what's tonight's video going to be on? And I have not decided yet. I just kind of told Joey, right after the live stream, we'll take a look at the color guard and act accordingly. But it's all over the place right now. So, that's why you got stops, right? Don't get too emotional. Don't let, all these colors, distract you. You bought positions. You had goals. You set stops, hopefully, right? We only talk about that all the time on this channel here. All right, Nasdaq hit a new high again. I see that. Amir says, what is going on with the market? That confirmed call is red. If I had to guess, because again, the VectorVest composite's the broad market, right? And this is just my theory, is that because the interest rate cuts weren't into place, I think the small caps, the mid caps are probably bringing down the VectorVest composite. See, but even the Dow Jones, so even the big stocks, so the market's mixed right now. So that's why I didn't try to guess the market this morning, coming up with a video topic. So we'll see after the live stream, and maybe you guys put some ideas in the comment section here. And maybe we can do a video on something like that. Jazz says rare earth. Let's take a look at UAMY. We'll take a look at some of the rare earths as well, see what they're doing today. All right. Everyone, that is losing people money. What are you talking about, Colin? What's losing people money? What is losing people money? I'm just curious. Jake, James, welcome to Monday. All right. We're about to get this thing started here. We see, the market's trying to rally a little bit here. We see a green light starting to appear. The VectorVest composite mixed. You can see currently at 73.26. Look at yesterday, 73.26. Look at 5 days ago, 73.26. So apparently that is a pretty good, pretty important number right now. The market trying to decide what it wants to do right around this point. You see the primary wave was down, did come back up over the last 3 trading sessions, still up currently, but again, flashing right on the verge here. So today could go either way. So this is going to be interesting. We do have some earnings today. So let's take a look and see what could potentially move the markets this week going forward. Let's see here. There we go. All right. Let's go back to Monday here. All right. Before the bell, we had Barrick Mining Corporation. Oklo, that's the one I want to talk about. Oklo after the bell today. There's a couple other ones. We had Aon. Archer Aviation after the bell today as well. Let's see here. Keep scrolling down. That's probably it for today. So today looks like we got Oklo, Archer Aviation after the bell. Interested to see how those work out. Change the color guard to at least neutral. We can't do that. It's mathematical. So again, it looks like the market's just kind of having a tipping point right now, because we've seen this flashing of the confirmed down for the last 2 or 3 days now. Yeah, so I'd say about mid last week. I remember seeing it flashing as well. So tomorrow after the bell, we got CoreWeave. Before the bell, which is very interesting, we got Circle Internet Group. Again, that's probably one of the hottest IPOs, one of the biggest IPOs of the year. I'm curious to see what Circle's been doing, so we're going to take a look at the chart as well. We've got On here, the shoe company. Nibius Group, well, I guess that's not confirmed here, so it might not be. We've got Kava. Rigetti. I did want to talk about Rigetti. So quantum computing up to bat when it comes to earnings this week. So keep that in mind as well. Qubit had a nice run this morning too. I wonder if the quantum stocks might be picking up some momentum when it comes to that. Orla Mining tomorrow. As I know, gold. We talk about gold a lot on this channel here. Some of you may be holding some Orla Mining. I'm curious as well. Their commentary, what was it? One of their mines collapsed, one of the shafts collapsed when it came to Orla Mining. So I know the stock took a bit of a hit there. So this might be able to bring some renewed enthusiasm back in with the bulls here. We got Cisco come Wednesday. A lot of stocks here. Not as big as last week. Last week was a huge week for earnings here. Huge week. So it might be kind of quiet this week as far as, stock. Nothing big on Wednesday here. I know Friday wasn't much. Thursday, AMAT, Applied Materials, coming out. Thursday, after the bell, we got John Deere, Deere & Company here before the bell on Thursday. Now, that can move the market, because I know a lot of people are talking about recession, weak economy, we need the interest rate cut, right? I think this here could give us some insight into, really the, some guidance on the broad economy itself. So I am curious what Deere's got to say. We got JD.com. Nice. Any other big ones here? No. And then Friday, wrapping up the week, nothing too major. Nothing too major here. All right. Now, tomorrow, we've got the deadline, right? The U.S.-China high-stakes tariffs truce extension hangs in the balance as deadline looms, right? I know President Trump was giving a speech not too long. He was giving a live speech or whatever. I know he talked about the semis a little bit there. So I know the semis they're talking about, paying some of the revenue to the government as far as, their exports to China. So I'm not exactly sure how that's going to work here. We can see, look, Trump has offered little indication on whether he will go for an extension, stoking concerns that tensions between the world's two largest economies could rise again, right? I know we've seen gold pick up some momentum lately, right? Coming off that trend line when we take a look at the industry chart. Let's see here. Ramp up purchase of U.S. goods, particularly energy, agriculture, and potentially semiconductors, chip making equipment, right? So that's what it's about. It's about semiconductors. Rare earths are at the forefront of this deal here. So again, if I had to guess, when there's a deal, the U.S. rare earths, like antimony, that's critical mineral, but same kind of category. USAR, these type of stocks, they are going to pull back a little bit. That's just my guess, right? But in the long term, that could create some buying opportunities. I've said that before. Because it's still an issue that's got to be resolved here. All right, we got Bitcoin. Look at that. Bitcoin back above $120,000 here. Whew, it's ripping and roaring, and I'm not too surprised by this. And again, I've said it, Ethereum's probably hotter right now. M-A-R-U-Y, please. Pennywise, yes, I could do that. Pennywise, is it okay if I get through the stories? Or actually, no, Pennywise, I'll do it now. We'll go back. All right, thank you, Pennywise. Everyone put a VV in the comment section here. Oh, well, I'm glad I bet it on the Qs rallying into this afternoon. I saw a little reverse head and shoulders. I'm just looking at my contracts right now. I bought them for about $40 a piece. Right now, they're about 58. All right, so that works. That's good. That's good. All right. Let's see here. Pennywise, let's see. M-A-R-U-Y. Interesting. See, I got a crazy layout. I'm testing some RT moving averages. Yeah, I'm trying to spice things up for you. And when I get some good results, you can see some pretty decent results here. These are some moving averages. Let's see here. Let's use, because I want to see the company's fundamentals. I want to get a good mix. All right. Now the company, even though it's been on a roar lately, still above the 20-day EMA. Look at the value ticking up as well. 178. I see a lot of consolidation here. Pretty range bound. Within I see about 208 to about 192. Maybe we could be retesting this level. I look at this as my support zone here. If it does come back this far. Otherwise, it's still above the 20-day EMA. I still like the position overall. Down day to day, obviously, so I'm not going to get too crazy about it. Let's see here. Growth rate and earnings, turnaround story coming in at 2%, but it was negative, right? Sales growth rate coming in at 14%. Earnings per share on the rise. And look at the RT. Still continuing to climb, and it's not... Like, it's still got some upward momentum here. RT's at 1.2, so it doesn't show like that, strong of a trend here. So that is good. Actually, I like this. What is this, diversified company here? Is one of the Japanese trading house that Buffett owns. Oh, okay. Interesting. Very interesting. Let's see here. But yeah, overall, man, it looks good. Now, if value was flat or, but value's ticking up with it. So even though it's overvalued, I don't know if you're trading this for as an investment or just a trade. But as far as the trade, I could see potential retest here in the zone. It looks like the 20-day EMA is there to help it in case it does retest it. So that would be my only thing. But, if it breaks that, yeah. So I'm not sure exactly, where you're coming at. But as far as an investment, I still like it. I like this rising earnings, too. And it's nice and steady, that rising earnings. Nothing too crazy there. All right. Let's see here. All right. We got, let's see here. Bitcoin. That's what we're talking about here. So as far as Bitcoin, hey, it's back in the headlines, back above 120 here, looking good for Bitcoin. What I have huge, aspirations now is the regulation that allows more opportunities for 401ks, retirements, IRAs, things of that nature to be invested in alternative assets. Crypto being one, Bitcoin, obviously being the largest of that. So I think that's going to benefit from it. All right, so here we've got Oklo. This is their second quarter earnings preview here. See here. Be August 11th. Consensus EPS is negative 11 cents with one upward revision and two downward revisions over the last 3 months. So two more downward revisions than upward revisions. Oklo, look at surging more than 260% year to date and over 900% in the last 12 months. What is it about? Nuclear power and its role in the future energy supply. It's all about powering these AI databases, right? Or data centers. Partnership activity. Oklo has deals with Liberty Energy and Vertiv. I know we've talked about Vertiv Holdings quite a bit. I didn't even know they had this partnership until I read the article. I thought that was interesting. Oklo and VRT teaming up together. So if you hold VRT as well, maybe put Oklo on your radar. But, both are doing well. Let's see here. Analyst projections point to continue negative earnings through 2028, only with a brief potential of profitability in early 2026. So they already know that they're not going to be profitable here. But interesting. That stock's been on a tear. I want to look at the chart here soon. All right, we've got Circle as well. Circle's was the IPO, the crypto IPO. Again, they are behind USDC. So, I could see with Bitcoin back above 120, just optimism in the crypto space in general here. But if we take a look at expectations, look, hold rating with a $210 price target, he noted that the company expects revenue of $64 million, close to the street's $646 million forecast, while gross profits is expected to I feel like the article's cut off there. Yeah, 640 to 650 million. So it looks like it'll be right in line with expectations. All right, and then next up we got CoreWeave coming for earnings as well here. Look at this. It's still, I mean, this is a phenomenal company. Look at their partnerships. They got a 7% stake by NVIDIA, and Microsoft is CoreWeave's largest customer. I mean, this company is so well positioned in the AI space. It's ridiculous. So I'm pretty optimistic in it. You know, again, I'm not a big, jumping into stock right before earnings. But if we take a look at the expectations, let's see here. The company launched its IPO offering, and the lockup normally would be around September 24th. In CoreWeave's case, though, the lockup will apparently expire 2 days after report earnings for the second time as a public company. Look at this bullish stance on AI demand. We're experiencing, CoreWeave has an expiring lockup that frees up 83% Class A shares beginning in the morning of August 15th. We believe strong fundamentals can absorb that increase in float. Specifically, we see room for another double-digit percentage top-line beat. So the float's about to increase, right? So that's interesting. We'll see how that works out with there. CoreWeave stock has jumped 225% in 2025, but the stock sold off in June after the company announced a deal to acquire Core Scientific in an all-stock deal valued at $9 billion. Let's see here. But yeah, a lot of big things with CoreWeave. I'm interested to see. I haven't looked at the stock price in quite a while here. But look at this. The IPO lockup expiration comes at a crucial time. So we'll see how this lockup affects the stock. All right, let's get back to the software because now I want to see the chart. Wait, where'd it go? Why won't it let me? There we go. All right, there we go. Let's go back to the home page. Where are we at? Still got the green light here. Teetering a little bit. 2 red lights. Nasdaq up just shy of 0.5%. It's leading the charge right now. All right. So here are the stocks. All these are reporting earnings here. Again, another pretty big week when it comes to earnings. All major index except industrial is up. How bearish you're going to be? I'm not going to be too bearish. Kind of neutral right now. Honestly. I think the market could take a breather. I think that's kind of what it's doing right now. It's not pulling back too much. We still see a green light here. Now, if we get 3 red lights in the day with confirmed down, maybe get some follow through, yes, I'd be a little bit more concerned. But that's what I'm saying. Right now, I'm just not concerned about buying too many more stocks. All right, here we've got Applied Materials, Cisco Systems, Oklo, NetEase, Rigetti, CoreWeave, On Holdings, Circle, Kava, Archer Aviation. Quite a diverse group of stocks when it comes to earnings in general. Let's just spread this out here. Yeah, we got semiconductors, utility, software, crypto when it comes to, Circle, food, aerospace, and defense. A lot of different stocks here. A lot of different stocks. All right. Let's see here. Where there's the momentum, CoreWeave. CoreWeave's got the momentum here. Looks like AI is still the place to be. Crypto as well. Look at Circle. Up 4% going into its earnings. We got Rigetti, Quantum. So it still looks like, investors putting on a little bit more risk in the market right now. I'm trying to see if there's any value, relative value. The only one stock, this is interesting. Out of all of the earnings here, only one stock has an RV or relative value above 1. So you can see a lot of these stocks are more for traders, not so much investors, right? A lot of speculative names. Looking at relative safety here, just trying to find. So there's two other ones. So these are only going to be safe stocks. We got AMAT, Applied Materials. NetEase got a RS at 1.3. And then we got Cisco Systems here at 1.21. Interesting. And those are the two buy-rated stocks here as well. The two with the higher safety rating. To be honest, the only ones I like on the list are AMAT and Cisco. Yeah, a lot of them are more speculative trading, retail-friendly stocks. Quite a diverse list here. A lot of these stocks I've looked at a while. So actually, let's graph all of these. Let's jump right into the charts here. All right, first up, CoreWeave. I mean, the value's still ticking up, not as much as I'd like to see it tick up. Let's go to 6 months. Back above the 20-day EMA. You see, I had a little level, was resistant, just broke through that. As of today, I kind of like this early momentum picking up going into earnings. And look at the earnings per share, the forecasted earnings per share. When the company first came out, it was negative $2.31. Now it's only 68 cents to the downside. And again, this is the leading 12-month forecast. We got growth rate went from negative to positive. Sales growth rate is the only one that's continuing to decline here. But look, 420%. You got earnings growth rate climbing, sitting at 21%. Yeah, the stock's overvalued, but a lot of these software companies in the AI space, they are. That's just kind of how they're trading right now. A lot of premium there. And as long as you're comfortable with that, and they're more volatile, you can see the stock was 180, went down to 100. So again, you got to ask yourself if you're comfortable with volatility. That could be a good play here. We got Circle, lost its momentum after the IPO. Got as high as $300 I see here. And look at this, now 166. It's pulled back quite a bit here. The valuation ticking up. Value coming in at $30 here. Growth rate on the decline, 16% in growth rate. Sales growth rate, 58%. Now, Circle, I can't get that hyped about Circle, right? I've talked about it before. I mean, essentially, they're a treasury system for their stable coin. I mean, that's their biggest business. So they're way overvalued. They're still hyped up stock. And right now, that momentum's to the downside. So I can't be a fan of Circle. Now, they can easily say something to get investors enthused on their earnings call and the stock, jump up. But their largest project is essentially a treasury project. So we'll see how that works. And with interest rate cuts, that could hurt them, honestly, their model. So keep that in mind. Here's Rigetti Computing. I mean, that's a nice steady eddy. Lower left, upper right over the last few months here. Earnings per share, negative. It is dropping. Sales growth rate drop. Only thing I was able to hold was earnings growth rate. It does. I mean, the numbers don't look pretty. That forecasted data, I'm not going to lie. It doesn't look too pretty there, that forecasted data. The company's still overvalued, but it's quantum computing. So, again, you're making a bet on the future. But as of right now, as far as the technicals, I do see more of a bullish move here, still being above that 20-day EMA. As far as an investment, highly speculative. All right, here's Applied Materials. Value on the rise, price action on the rise. And look, price action just getting back above that 20-day EMA, trying to find a level of support there. This might be a good re-entry point, but you see it was short-lived last time. So I want to see a little bit more confirmation. See if we can even take out at least today's high for that confirmation. Growth rate earnings declining, sales growth rate rising, earnings forecasted, EPS rising. 7%, not bad. I think there's more interesting and better semiconductor picks, but not bad. They report after the bell. They need to stay above that 20-day EMA after the dust settles when it comes to earnings, though. Here's on lower than it was 6 months ago. Growth rate earnings dropping. Was in the 20s, now at 18%. Sales growth rate, 39%. Earnings per share, 122. But yeah, look at the RT relative timing. It's just not a good time to be bullish on this position. And RT is confirming that. We got NetEase here. I don't like this. It's retested the 20 from the top, and now it looks like it's retesting from the bottom. I don't like that from a technical standpoint. Look at the growth rate and earnings, though, on the rise. Big jump in the earnings forecasted EPS here. Sales growth rate went from negative to positive. So I do see some good things with the forecasted data here. But as far as the technicals, I'm not the biggest fan. Here is Kava. Just channeling. Very range bound. Forecasted data looks fantastic. Look at it's dropping, but the growth rate and earnings coming at 41%. Sales growth rate down at 28%. Earnings per share on the rise. I like that position. But yeah, I got to get a breakout either way. Get some confirmation. I see Archer. Losing that momentum. Look how RT. It was favorable for quite a while during the rally, but finally dropped below 1. This was back, the close was $10.18. Now trading at $9.69. Sell ratings here, so be careful on Archer Aviation. Greatly overvalued, so it's got to bring some great things to the table at this earnings call. The company's got high expectations, so we'll see if it can come forth that. But I mean, look, -7 on the growth rate earnings, sales growth rate 0. From a technical perspective, I'm not that excited. And just going into earnings with these kind of numbers, I can't get excited about it. Not that it's bad and it's, going to crash or anything, but I just can't get excited about that. All right, look at Cisco's value. Whoo! What is going on with Cisco? It's a computer network company, Cisco, but look at this. Retest. It will kind of consolidate a little bit of a channel here. Break out of that channel. Could get a dark cloud cover here today, though, so just be careful. This is a candlestick pattern when you gap up and you enter the body and you get a close about halfway or more in the body of that candlestick. It's a bearish. See if we get confirmation on it tomorrow. But I do like the valuation. Look, growth rate, turnaround story here, and earnings. Sales growth rate, also a turnaround story in the last 6 months. Earnings per share on the rise. I like Cisco. I like that going in earnings. Here's Oklo. Oklo approaching that 20-day EMA, so it's gonna come to earnings. See if we can retest it. Overvalued. It's gonna be my one major concern here. But look at the growth rate. -10. Sales growth rate 0. Earnings per share on the decline and negative. That's, again, a hard stock to get enthusiastic about going into earnings with those type of numbers coming. Let's see here. Close out of this. All right. Now let's take a look at some industries. So if the market's moving higher, I'm just curious. Let's do industry. Let's do the manufacturers here. A little bit of a retest on the 20-day EMA. I like that sales growth rate. Big spike in sales growth rate there. That's not too concerning. Let's go to semiconductors here. Looks like semiconductors, a lot of consolidation here. We could get a breakout. This could be some momentum to help carry the markets higher, but look at that. So many retests on semiconductors. Looks like it's taking a breather here. Of all, which would you pick for after the bell for options or safest? What are you talking about? Earnings? Glenn didn't like Kava? Yeah, well, the world's changing. Glenn likes the old world stuff. I like Kava. I mean, it's not. We've got one not far from me. It's not like I go there, crazy often, but I do go there occasionally. Let's see here. Oh, they're partnering with the Olympics. Interesting. Oh, for earnings today after the bell. What do we have here? Was it just Oklo? Oh, let's go back to Monday. Yeah, it was just Oklo and Archer Aviation were on that list. One has a sell. I would pick neither. You know, I would pick neither. But they're in hot spaces. I mean, obviously you've got defense here, and you've got, nuclear energy when it comes to, AI data centers, that kind of thing. Olympics. Talking about Olympic steel? What are you talking about? What you talking about, Willis? All right. Let's get to it here. Oh, I put in the wrong one. Go figure. We'll empty this watch list. Go back to graphs. All right. One other thing I want to look at here. Gold and silver. What is it doing? Gold looks like it's up today. Marching a little higher. I do like that. That's the pivot I was talking about. Value. I mean, gold. I like the gold trade. I have a feeling China's deal tomorrow is going to affect gold prices. Good or bad. But I have a feeling that's really going to, if the deal comes out tomorrow, or if we get a deal, whatever happens. But I have a feeling gold is going to move on that news. It just depends what exactly the deal is. And I'm not going to speculate what the deal is. These deals are getting pretty interesting, and they're not just dealing with tariffs now. They got all kinds of parts. Gold pulled back overnight, ? But you see the miners, though, marching higher. Nice retest on the support level here. A body to the upside. I do like that. What was the other one I was going to look at here? Let's go to sector. I wanted to look at REITs. Look at REITs on the decline with housing prices. I was reading an article today about housing prices on the decline nationwide for a little bit. And you can see the REITs here. So be careful if you're in real estate stocks. All right, let's get to it. Since it's Monday and since the confirmed call is flashing, let's do 20 stocks today. Today we're going to do 20 stocks. And we're going to see how we do it from there. So I'm not going to go by likes. The first stock symbols are coming across the comment section are the ones that are going to be broken down within the VV system. All right, they're already coming through. Wow, that didn't take long at all. Micron. I got to move the mic here. Micron. LYV. Thank you, John. You said please. Look at that. All right, let me scroll down here. All right, we're doing 20 stocks, so you probably don't need to put any more in the comment section. So it looks like we'll get there. Oh, Palantir. PLTR. Let's see where we're at here. VRTX. ISCC. Oh, that one's already in there. SMCI. ISRG, APP. PP. All right, see, is this? How many is this here? All right, well, and the last one here will be MTG. It's a lot of stocks. MTG. All right, let's see here. There we go. Let's scroll over to the left here. There we go. All right, we got CLS. Let's sort this. Hey, let's see where the value is at. Let's just start over here. Value, Micron. Micron is always usually at the top of the list when it comes to undervalued positions. We got SMCI. That one's usually at the top of the list as well, but there's a lot of drama when it comes to SMCI, right? We've all know the story there. They are showing momentum to the upside today. Look, we got lithium. Lithium stock's been beaten up quite a bit. I wonder if there's some bottom fishing opportunities there. Maybe we need to do a lithium video. Joey, help me remember that. We might do a lithium video here. All right, we got Comcast, Eli Lilly. So from ISSC up, that's where you're going to get your value. And you see some momentum to the upside. And look, there's some sell ratings here with that value. So you might be able to get some bottom fishing opportunities here. And as far as the overvalued positions here, a lot of that is in the AI space, you can see here. And there's still momentum. Not that it's bad. There's still momentum to the upside when it comes to that AI space. See, Alistair up 13%. SoundHound AI up another 15% here. So still seeing momentum in this arena. Now, as far as RV, see where my long-term investments potentially are. Micron, Eli Lilly. Really, actually, there's a lot of RVs above one. From Kratos Defense up. And again, if you're not familiar with RV, it looks at long-term price appreciation potential compared to an alternative investment in a AAA corporate bond. So it's, just the question, if you're going to put your money somewhere for the next 2 to 3 years, is the stock or is the bond more likely to do better, right? So if a RV is above one, it's telling me that the stock is more likely to outperform that bond over the next 1 to 3 years. So that's just kind of, if you didn't know what RV is, that's what it is. Looks at the company's fundamentals, right? So a lot of these stocks here that you gave me a little bit more than half the list showing me RVs above one. And a lot of these ratings pretty high here. I mean, look at this. This is 1.4 and higher. ISSC, Celestica, Supermicro, AppLovin, Micron. So a lot of good names here. All right, let's do safety. Celestica at the top of the list here comes safety. Kratos Defense. A lot of the same names that we saw when it comes to RV, if we notice. And as far as safety, let's see here. Yeah, about half and half when it comes to safety. The safest, Micron, is the least safe of the safest stocks, right? So that's going to be the least safest one. We got RT coming at 1.41, buy rating here. Momentum, let's see where the momentum's at. Who's in momentum trades? ISSE, Kratos here, RT's at 1.95, 1.89. I mean, really from here up, I know these are big moves. Probably parabolic looking at the charts here. All right, let's see where my growth stocks are. We got AppLovin, top of the list with 50. Micron, second place at 38% earnings growth rate. Nice. We got Dutch Brothers coming in here. Growth rate of 33%. I like that. Eli Lilly. Again, a lot of good names here. Let's go to the graph these. Bring these over real quick. Come on, get over here. All right. AppLovin, first up on the list here. A nice lower left, upper right. Extended from the 20-day EMA, so I'm not going to say rush it and jump in it now. I like the full body candlestick, though. If you're in it, ride this momentum. And look at the valuation. Even though it trades at a premium, you see the valuation continuing to rise here. Growth rate earnings faltered over the last 12 months. 50% still. Sales growth rate what is that? 77%. Whew. I see why stocks, investors are getting enthused about this position here. But we've got sales growth rate. Big pop in sales growth rate was what? 40%. Now coming in at 77%. Earnings per share on the rise. I like what I see here. You can see some resistance coming in. If I wanted to find maybe a retest, and we broke clearly through that. Yeah, we're approaching new highs here. App loving. Maybe use something like Star Search, help capture momentum. Here we've got Micron Technology, value lower left, upper right. Micron just stagnant. The stock just won't get out of its own way, even with the gap up today. Just not working out well at all for this position. Growth rate earnings on the rise. We got sales growth rate coming in at 37% now. Earnings per share on the rise. Yeah, the stock can't get out of its own way. I mean, it was a clear profit taken right at the prior high here. Maybe get some confirmation. You can see the breakout from the trend line. Broke right through my level of resistance here. Interesting. Here we got Bros. This is Dutch Bros. Valuation flat, just way overvalued for sure. I do like it being above the 20-day EMA, but I mean, after the gap up, lackluster, the trend is to the downside. You can almost just connect these tops here. I'm not going to get optimistic until we can break this downward trend line. Right now, it looks like we might be tempted to fill the gap. But as far as forecasted data, 33%, 28% on sales growth rate. Not too shabby. Rising earnings per share here. Okay, I can get behind that. But yeah, I'm not going to get behind it too much until we get above these series of lower lows since the gap up. Or sorry, lower highs since the gap up. Here's Eli Lilly. Gap down just a few trading sessions ago. Finally becoming undervalued, right? I do like value on the rise here. Look at that. Value continues to rise. The stock did move down. It was in this pretty large consolidation zone. But now, oh, look at this. Looks like I got a retest here of this level around 629, 605. This could be a good bottom fishing opportunity here. If it breaks much below 605, that's going to be my stop here on this position. We got growth rate and earnings on the rise. Sales growth rate on the rise. I like that. Earnings per share also rising here. But again, you're catching a falling knife. The RT below 1. But if you're in it, this is going to be my stop. And what is this coming off of here? What was I looking at? Oh. Use this as level support here. All right, here's Atlas Mining Corp. Mining stocks have been getting hit hard lately. Let's take a look at the 1 year chart. Yep, there it goes. Long downtrend. But look at the turnaround story. Valuation starting to tick up. Price action ticking up. We got growth rate and earnings on the rise. Sales growth rate coming at what? Not too good. Negative 83%. Earnings per share. Be careful with this one. I do like the value and the price rising, but overall, I mean, that forecasted data and the earnings per share declining. I can't get too enthused to buy it. If you're in it, look at this 20-day EMA as a retest. But I do like this. I mean, this is going to be more aggressive or speculative, but I do like this value and price action starting to turn around here. Here's Celestica. Lower left, upper right. Overvalued now. Did have some value opportunities there. Growth rate, 28%. Sales growth rate, 21% here. Growth rate and earnings on the rise. Forecasted earnings per share on the rise. I like what I see here. Here's ISSC. Again, lower left, upper right, value. It's still undervalued. Even after this big run that it's had, the stock is still undervalued to our metrics here. Growth rate and earnings, 28%. Sales growth rate, 104%. Sales growth rate here ticking up. Earnings per share ticking up. I like the stock. I mean, it's doing what we want it to do, right? And you can see the retest of the 20-day EMAs. Looks like good opportunities. We're a little overextended right now, so I want to be in a rush to get into it. But as far as, maybe some kind of pullback in the future, maybe somewhere in here. Maybe go up and come back down and pivot to it. But right now, I like the stock. The momentum's to the upside. Here's Palantir. Still above that channel. Just be careful rolling back over, retesting this channel here. So that looks like what it might want to do is retest this channel. Stock's overvalued. That's my only concern here. Otherwise, I mean, the forecasted data is spectacular on the stock. You've got rising earnings. It's one of the hottest stocks, in the market right now. So I can't talk bad about it. But you can see it's still above the 20-day EMA. But yeah, if you see a little bit more of a pullback, just look for the retest on the upper end of this ascending channel that it was in. Here's Kratos. Could be a shooting star coming for. But it's still above this trend line here. Still above the 20-day EMA, so I like it. Growth rate and earnings rising. Sales growth rate rising. Earnings per share rising 25, 9% respectively. Not bad numbers. But yeah, as long as it's above this trend line, I like it. Here's SMCI. We had the gap down. Value starting to pull back a little bit. But look at the forecasted data. All of them are trending down pretty nicely too. I mean, those are pretty nicely trending. Look at the growth rate and earnings. Steady downtrend. Sales growth rate, stair-step fashion. Earnings per share also declining. 8% coming in at now. Yeah, I can't get too excited about this one right now. Can't get too excited about it. Just that forecasted data, the gap down. I mean, the earnings call didn't seem too good. So yeah, I'm not too excited about it. ISRG, we got Intuitive here. Steady decline. Looks like it's retesting that 20-day EMA to the bottom end now. Stock's overvalued. Growth rate 18%. Sales growth rate 21%. We've got earnings per share on the rise as well. I'm not really liking it too much here. And yeah, look at that. Just a rollover from the last year. Doing a whole lot of nothing. I can't get behind that stock. Here's Live Nation. Look at Live Nation. A lot of momentum to the upside. I got 2 upper wicks today, so I'm not going to get too enthused right now. Valuation, overvalued. Growth rate 18%. Sales growth rate 16%. Look at the earnings per share. The forecasted data has been on the rise too. This one doesn't seem too bad, but yeah, I'm not here for it right now just because these upper wicks showing some weakness over the last 2 trading sessions. Here's Oust. Interesting. Let's go to 3 months. 2 upper wicks. No, not showing, really any kind of confirmation getting above this 20-day EMA. Yeah, we're above it, just not really seeing it. We got upper wick here, still in the body within yesterday. Maybe break out of this body and then pick a direction from there. But we got growth rate and earnings faltering, sales growth rate rising, 30%. That's healthy for me. Earnings per share is rising. Not bad. Lower left, upper right. But again, just not. I'd have to get outside this body and see, within this gap up. Looks like the bulls and bears are trying to fight it out and see which, if they want to, continue this momentum to the upside or not. Now here's verdicts. Gap down. Sell rating was given. Right at the gap. See, the close that day was 374. Currently trading at 376. So right around that close. Growth rate 13%. 10% on the earnings. 13% on the sales growth rate here. EPS is on the rise. Sales growth rate on the rise. I like it so far. I like it. Here is MGIC Investment Corp. Lower left, upper right. Values on the rise. Growth rates at 9%. EPS rising here. Another good one. But again, just pretty stagnant over the last 3 months. Not a lot of momentum. Let's look at the not a lot of momentum over the last year either. But look at the value continuing to climb. The stock here is definitely a good value play. And look at the earnings per share on the rise. The only thing to drop over the last year is sales growth rate. And it's just flat, 0%. But I do like the valuation play here. Here's Comcast. I mean, brand new low. Look at values on the decline, price action on the decline. You know I'm going to say that's, you know, what I don't want to see. That's exactly what I don't want to see is this right here. Value on the decline and price action on the decline. And even the forecasted data, you know, that's not going to get me excited. The only thing that's getting me excited here, I see a big jump in this earnings per share. And look at the valuation. A big jump in the valuation too. But with that momentum still picking up, I mean, we're at session high, or sorry, session lows at a 52-week low. I don't know if that downward momentum is over. You see the sell rating has been given on this position here. The sell rating came in. $31 was the close, 67 cents. We're just below that, $31.24. Here we've got Sound. Big body candlestick today with SoundHound. Look at the AI stock showing a lot of enthusiasm. Growth rate 4%. Sales growth rate 151%. Earnings per share is falling here. This is going to be a momentum play. I'm going to treat it like a momentum play, and the momentum is to the upside. You can switch to something like Star Search. If you've never used that before, it just uses Bollinger Bands. And you can see we're a little overextended right now because look at the upper Bollinger Band here. Every time it hits this line, likes to pull back shortly after. See right here, hit it, came back. So we're definitely a little overextended. So I wouldn't be surprised if we pull back. Doesn't mean this run is over, but wouldn't be surprised if we pull back. And not necessarily today, because you see we're actually over it right now. So we'll see how that plays out. But yeah, definitely a little overextended for my liking. But I do like this momentum play. But again, if you've never used Star Search, as long as price action stays in this fast lane, you're in the trade. Now, if it drops below this, which is what, 1292, that would be the stop here, 1292. Or at least take some off the profit, or just realize, you know, it's losing that momentum. All right, here's Applied Digital. Oh, here's another one. Went in the fast lane. See how it pulled back, created an upper wick there, right at the Bollinger Band. Went back up to it. Starting to show weakness here. So just be careful of that. Let's go. Let's switch it back to this layout. All right, Applied Digital here. Forecast negative 7%. Sales growth rate 41%. No, I'm not too excited by that. But yeah, I'd treat this like a momentum play here. And that 20-day EMA is going to be my level of support. Here's Heathflow Inc. We got two candlesticks. It's currently at session highs today. So let's go into an intraday chart here. Way overvalued. We only valued $1.52. It's currently trading at $30. Growth rate, -7. Sales growth rate, 39% here. Interesting. You can see it's just flatlined right now. So I'm not going to, this might have another breakout. If so, it's going to be about $30.04. We're right there. But yeah, right now the stock's overvalued. Let's see here. Let's put 1 day. Oh. They just close out? They just closed out on me. All right, we had these last two. View stock graph. All right, we've got app. Wait, no. It went all of them. View stock graph. There we go. All right. All right, there's Heathflow. All right, here's Intel. Look at Intel. Gap up today, but look at this big bodied wick. Again, Intel, I mean, it's just channeling. Yeah, we are on the lower end of that channel right now from about 1875 to about 2475. But look at the growth rate in earnings, just steadily declining. EPS still declining even recently here. Sales growth rate just flat, right at 0%. I cannot get excited behind Intel. I think any pop that we've seen in Intel recently, it really just news driven. It's not even necessarily positive news, especially with this, the Trump administration wanting the CEO to step down potentially. And they had such a, I got the play, especially, bottom fishing, buying the dip on it. And with domestic, chip manufacturing, all over the headlines right now, I did get the sense in the play, but the stock never came to fruition. It's not showing me any kind of signs of doing that. And the forecasted data is not giving me much optimism there when it comes to being a long-term bull on Intel. All righty, now let's go to the home page. I just want to see where the confirmed call. So we are in a confirmed down situation right now. 3 red lights across the board. So again, just be defensive this week. VectorVest does not advocate buying any stocks at this time. Doesn't mean you just go out and sell everything, but you got stops in a place for a reason. If you don't have stops in your position, now is probably a good time, to consider putting stops on your stocks. Okay. All right. We got to do a video for tonight. We got to figure out what we're going to talk about here, but probably going to be a little bit more, maybe defensive in nature, but let's see here. We'll take a look at some topics. All right, everybody. And don't forget, we got the Las Vegas VIP next month. Just go to vectorvest.com/Vegas to register. Everyone have a wonderful afternoon, and I'll see you tomorrow. I'll actually see you tonight at 6 p.m. video. Take care. Bye.